everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another version of Space Invaders TV. I'm your guy, your host, Rashawn. It's November the 24th, Thanksgiving Eve, alright? And we just got a few things that I want to talk about and cover that's made like the national headlines within this past week. But first off, before we go on any further and talk about any of the topics I want to touch on this evening, I want to first give up and say we all need to be thankful this Thanksgiving. We need to really give thanks for a lot of things. There's so many people out here that are really rock bottom, and so many people out here that really do need the help, and some need to just stop and take a minute and be thankful and not be selfish and not be just so self-centered and just taking for granted what they are still blessed with. There's somebody that didn't wake up this morning, and the truth just is maybe someone that is fighting for their life and may not wake up tomorrow morning. And there are those who have been put out of their homes for whatever reason. I'm falling on hard times throughout this pandemic. We have, some of us may have lost loved ones within the pandemic, if not from COVID, other issues. A lot of folks may have been out of work during the COVID, but still been blessed to continue to have a roof over their head and food on their table, and their families still tight and together, and not even having any symptoms or contracting the COVID at all. You gotta give thanks for a lot of things. I was having a conversation with someone earlier today, and we were talking about how people, how we were witnessing, some people just taking advantage of the system. And the assistance that's been handed down throughout this pandemic, and people are taking advantage of the graciousness of others who may be feeding people that are really in need in this time, who are giving out warm coats and turkeys and things of that nature. And then there are those who are in those lines that don't really need it, that they are blessed, but just because it's something free, they're there. And that's greed. We gotta give thanks. And even in this time of inflation, where you have gas high, groceries high, all your necessities that you would need, the prices are like doubled. If you're still able to travel these highways and byways and everything, to still travel and see your families and things, you need to be grateful. You need to be thankful to be able to do that, because it's somebody that may have lost their vehicle today, or in the process of losing their vehicle, period, that can't do that. And they're feeling hopeless right now, because things are just, it's been a rough patch for them, a rough time. you should give thanks if you're able to maneuver still in these times, and you still have a job. We gotta give thanks, and we gotta understand, we gotta have compassion and a heart for people, for others in these times. And every year we talk about giving thanks, but most definitely this year you need to step back and need to be thankful for what you have, and understand that it is a higher being, and you ain't do it alone, and you were blessed. So if you don't believe, if you don't have no faith, I'm not here to push a belief or a faith onto you. Peace be with you if you don't. This is no judgment zone. But if you do have faith and you believe, then you understand 100% what I'm saying. So, I want to say thank you all for tuning in and watching. Thanks to all the subscribers. Make sure y'all continue to share the page, share the channel. I always keep saying page. Share the channel. Continue to share the information that I share with you guys. Is not just for your ears only. If you have family, friends, relatives, or whatever, and you talk about the local issues going on in your community, national and world events that's going on around the globe, if you have these type of conversations that I present here with your friends, family, and associates, then by all means share what I talk about with your people. Let's continue to keep the word, spreading the word, because it's all about each one teach one here. Sharing some common knowledge and bringing conversations that I know most people may have with their friends, and ideas and that you may have on certain topics. I bring them right here to light for you. So without further ado, I want to go in this evening, and I want to start off with the Ahmaud Arbery trial. His trial today, and all three of the men were found guilty. They were found guilty. So I'm gonna run it down for you real quick. If you're not up to speed with the Ahmaud Arbery trial, the young man that was down in Brunswick, Georgia, a year ago, taking a jog, and he was pretty much gunned down, profiled and gunned down by three men. So wrongfully, period. All right, so I'm gonna read it. What transpired today on the when the verdict, they handed the verdict out today, November the 24th, 2021. A Georgia jury convicted 3 white men of murder on Wednesday in the death of Ahmaud Arbery, 21 months after the 25-year-old black man was chased down and shot to death while out for a Sunday jog. Travis Mcmichaels, who fatally shot Arbery in February 2020, was convicted on all 9 charges, including malice murder, 4 counts of felony murder, aggravated assault with a shotgun, aggravated assault with a pickup truck, false imprisonment, and criminal intent to commit a felony. Mcmichaels' father, Gregory Mcmichaels, 65, a former Georgia police officer, was found not guilty of malice murder, but was convicted on remaining charges, including felony murder count. The Mcmichaels' neighbor, William Rhodey Bryan, 53, was found guilty of 3 of the felony murder counts, as well as charges of aggravated assault with his pickup, false imprisonment, and criminal intent to commit a felony. So I'm gonna stop it right there. You can look on all the major media outlet sites, and you'll see that story. They'll break down the trial for you. I never caught. Let me go through here real quick and see. I didn't catch and hear when the judge was gonna actually hand them their sentencing. Today they just let them know that they were charged. They lost trial, as they should. You know, um, Travis McMichael is the son of Gregory McMichael. These men actually thought that they acted. They had reason to act the way they did and gun this young man down, this innocent young man. They profiled him and had him all mixed up wrong. Whoever they thought he wasn't that person. And even still, them claiming to want to, they were acting out a citizen's arrest by law in Georgia. They say you have to actually see the person do the crime. Like, you have to see them do the crime. You can't go and assuming or go off a hearsay. And that's what the McMichaels did. They were claiming they had break-ins in their area, people getting their property broken into, and they went after the one black man they seen running down the road and profiled him as the black man they claimed to have seen in the area. And that wasn't the case, you know. So I'm glad that justice was handed down, and to Ahmaud Arbery's family, peace and blessings be with you. Even though this won't bring, Ahmaud back, but justice was served. A message was sent out that you just can't go around. You can't just keep going around continuing to kill unarmed people and think you're gonna get away with it and think you're gonna be justified. It's just not gonna happen. Some states, they've been in cities been letting it. Their prosecution the prosecutors may not have been strong enough, and they've dropped the ball somewhere. And a lot of these instances with these cases, these criminals slip through the cracks. They slip through because somebody during the trial didn't dot their I's and cross their T's. So once again, peace and blessings to Ahmaud Arbery's, his family. Peace be with him, and may God keep him covered, and may his spirit be free now. Because this is a sad situation. It's really horrible, and even for the McMichaels, there's no leadership. A father led his own son down the wrong path to now him and his son will sit in prison. A son away from his mother, and this man away from and the father away from his wife, and they're gonna die in prison, and they're not gonna be able to be there with Gregory Michaels. Not gonna be with his wife. Travis Michaels is not gonna be able to be with his mother. His mother will ultimately die, and they will not be there to even, comfort her. She will die alone. All because of their bonehead decision, and for the gentleman Roddy, William Brody, actually, the third gentleman. Yeah, he's going to prison for life too, just for the simple fact, and he didn't pull a weapon or anything. He actually had recorded it, but he also jumped in his vehicle and also tried to run Ahmaud Arbery down and block him in. He aided and abetted. He had nothing to do. He just jumped in something he shouldn't have never. I guarantee you tonight he's sitting in prison, sitting in jail, I should say. He hasn't been sent to prison yet. He's sitting in their county jail, and I guarantee you right now he's banging his head against the wall and wishing he can just rewind that whole event. But I'm glad that justice was served, and the jury, the prosecutors did their jobs, and the jury heard the prosecution and took everything in and gave a fair ruling. And I'm glad that the judge, he's, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, when the judge was reading those charges, you seen a soul just leave Travis McMichael. The soul, all their souls was just snatched from them because they actually thought that they were gonna walk away. They actually thought that they had right to do what they did. The ignorance of them. So, but moving on, I want to talk also about the gentleman Darrell Brooks, 39, on last Sunday here in Waukesha, Wisconsin. The gentleman mowed down multiple people and during a Christmas parade. It's just a sad situation. And if you haven't been up to speed with that, that's on all major media outlets and everything like that. I'm gonna read it to you. Like they said, he had an extensive list before that. It was an issue where he almost ran. He was trying to run his girlfriend over and a child, or something like that. And on this particular day, I don't know what was going on in his mind. And all I can say is mental health is something serious. I mean, it's a lot of times you look at, if you see pictures of people who do certain things, such as this gentleman, I often just like to, I look at them and I look at the pictures, and a lot of times you can look at these people in their eyes and tell it all, like they're not really with us. Physically they are, but mentally, you just you could just look at their eyes and it's just like they're just looking through you. They're not even here, and it's not one of those drug look like they're like on some type of drug. It's like really mental health. We can't always diagnose things. We can't always look at certain situations and think like, hey, this person was on drugs. Yeah, high percentage rate, we can't say that, but a lot of times we have mental health is ramp. It don't matter what your color, race, creed is, it is rampant. It is at an all-time high. And it's just ultimately the system in some shape or form has failed this gentleman right here that caused pain to all of these people. And peace be with all the people that and the children that's been lost so far. This is bad, and it's really sad, and it's a real tragedy, because this is not going to be a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday season, and the people period in this country, working class folks period, have we been going through enough. People, like, through with the pandemic, a lot of anxiety levels, and people just not knowing what to expect from day to day or month to month during that and during this whole time, because let's remember the pandemic isn't over. So for you to lose a child and a loved one in a horrific way that just happened in Waukesha, Wisconsin, it's not a good thing. And so once again, I say peace be with those families. And I just pray that that those families involved that have to deal with this situation, that they mental, that if they need any counseling for their mental, I hope that they receive it, because there's only so much that certain people take that before they break. And I hope that all the families are able to stay strong and able to get through this as best as they can. So I want to read this charges, or this guy's history. Darrell Brooks, he was 39, Waukesha, Wisconsin. He had been arrested time again since he was a teenager. accused of battery and domestic abuse and resisting the police. Earlier this month, prosecutors in Milwaukee said he intentionally ran over a woman he knew with a maroon Ford Escape. But Darrell E. Brooks, 39, was quickly freed from jail on bond after prosecutors requested what they now say was an inappropriately low bail by Sunday evening as a Christmas parade was making its way through downtown Waukesha, Wisconsin. The police were coming for Mr. Brooks again after receiving a report of domestic dispute involving a knife. But before Waukesha officers ever reached the site of that dispute, a maroon Ford Escape toppled barriers along the parade route. The police said Mr. Brooks was the driver and that he sped toward the marching bands and the smiling families and the troop of dancing grannies strolling down Main Street, charging on even as he mowed down children. One police officer fired his gun at Mr. Brooks but quickly stopped. Chief Daniel Thompson said, fearful of hitting someone in the crowd. 5 adults died in a vehicle attack, and at least 48 people, including children, were injured some critically within minutes. What the mayor described as a normal Rockwell type of Christmas parade in suburban West Milwaukee had been a mass casualty incident with firefighters who were watching the parade with their families suddenly tending to wounded on the street. That's a sad situation, man. And you figure, last year nobody, around the country, none of those events and festivals, everything was canceled due to the heighten of the COVID. So now when people are able to come out this year and try to enjoy some type of festivities, something like this happened. So now people of that community is going to have this on their brain every year that they have this parade, which is supposed to be a great time for your family to come out and maybe you get to see some folks that you haven't even seen in a while, and especially some people might not have really seen some people in a while due to the COVID. So but now from here on out, next year they have that parade. It's going to be hurtful. It's going to be painful for some people, and some people will, besides the ones that were lost in this horrific event, there are those that will never return back to that event again just because of what happened there, because mentally they won't be able to withstand it, and it's just a shame. It's just a shame, and I tell you, like, mental health is something serious. We don't understand what that young man was going through, and I know, frankly, some people really don't care because we had children that were lost, and, if anything else, I mean, no life you want taken in no shape or form. But I guess, then I know that we all can agree that when the children is involved in a tragic, any type of tragic situation, and a child loses life, no one is happy about that, and it makes everybody angry, and they can care less about the suspect and his mental or her mental status. But we do have to be mindful and log in to that, because a lot of times some of these folks are dealing with some real mental issues and they go overlooked. And then this is what happened, and innocent people just enjoying evening at a parade in their community, and stuff like this happens. It's just sad. It's just sad. So my heart, my prayers and everything, it just goes out to those families involved and all the onlookers that were there that had to even witness that horrific. Because I couldn't even imagine just standing and watching a parade and enjoying that, and a car comes barreling down the road, and just people just like bowling pins. I couldn't even imagine that. I don't that is wow. And just imagine even the young children, not just the adults, the young children that even may have that seen this, what that's gonna do to them, you know. So it affects a lot of things. It affects people in so many different ways, and man, it's just a tragedy. So, like I said, once again, peace and blessings to those families and all them who were involved and had to witness that event, and all families who lost their loved ones in that event. Is just that's just tragic. Um, yeah, that's tragic. So, moving on, I want to talk about. I know many may have heard about the young girl. Now we had oh, and before I forget, J.J. Watt, football player J.J. Watt, he's even offered to pay for funeral arrangements for all that were lost in that parade, all lives that were lost in that parade. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, J.J. Watt, yeah, J.J. Watt, and I see why, cause he's from he's from Waukesha, Wisconsin. He's a native, so he's willing to cover the expenses for all victims, you know, that lost their lives during that parade. So that's great, and he plays for J.J. Watt plays for the Arizona Cardinals, but he is a native of Waukesha, Wisconsin. And so that made sense why he was reaching out. So I mean, he's a Nate hometown. That's his hometown. He went to the University of Wisconsin, um, and he went on. He went University of Wisconsin, and he was at Central Michigan. Um, he went to Pewaukee High School there in Waukesha. So yeah, so they're a native, Waukesha native, uh, J.J. Watt. He's willing to pay for to cover the funeral expenses, and that's running on all social, like all media outlets. They're talking about that. So yeah, big up to J.J. Watt for that, man. You know, looking out and extending himself for his people in his hometown. That's a big deal, man. You know, people. I'm pretty sure that people will really appreciate that for real. All right, so moving on. We had two 8-year old girls that this weekend, this past weekend, this Sunday. I want to say that was the 21st. Let's see here, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Yeah, November the 21st, Sunday. You had a young girl out of Texas, 8-year old. Uh, Someone kidnapped her. She snatched her right in front of right where she was with her mother in Texas. But she was returned back home. She got returned back home to her parents later on in that day. But here again, we had another situation down in Georgia early Sunday on November the 21st as well, 2021, down in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. A young girl, her parent called and said her child was missing, and yeah, and they ultimately, after searching, they found the young girl, a young 8-year old girl, dead, and that was just sad. And I'm gonna read the story briefly here. Early Sunday, a woman called Gwinnett County Police to say she couldn't find her 8-year old daughter. The little girl, who wore glasses, was last seen in her Tweety Bird jacket and blue-white pajamas, her mother said. But investigators don't believe Nicole Amari Hall was ever missing. Instead, it was Brittany Nicole Hall, Amari's mother, who later told investigators where the child might be. On Tuesday morning, Amari's body was found in a wooded area of a DeKalb County neighborhood about 15 miles from the hotel where the family was living. Gwinnett Police Chief J.D. McClare said Brittany Hall and her partner have both been charged in the case, with the partner facing a murder charge. It's extremely painful, extremely painful. We all have family. We recognize the innocence of an 8-year-old child, McClure said at a Tuesday afternoon news conference. Although we can't bring her back, we can bring those responsible for her death to justice. Brittany Hall was living at the hometown studios at 7049 Jimmy Carter Boulevard with her 3 children and partner Celeste Owens. According to police, around 9:15 a.m. Sunday, Hall called authorities to report Amari missing. Hall told investigators Amari had last been seen between midnight and 1 a.m. Sunday. And the mother said she was particularly worried because Amari had autism and was new to the area. Investigators immediately launched a search to find the girl, going door to door at the hotel. McClure said by noon Sunday, Gwinnett police had released to the media a photo of the girl wearing a white tank top and pigtails. Anyone who had information about Amari's whereabouts was asked to contact the police. But they quickly realized the mother's statement, along with statements from Owens, didn't match the information officers were gathering during their investigation. We compared statements that we had gotten from Brittany Hall and also her partner Celeste Owens, McClure said. We compared those statements and recognized those statements were indeed false. McClure denied to speculate about a motive in the case. He said an autopsy conducted by the Gwinnett County Medical Examiner will provide more details about how Murray died and how long her body may have been in the woods near Juliet Drive and Stone Mill Trace in Tucker area. I can't speculate on why they reported her as missing, McClure said, but our investigation revealed Amari was not in fact missing. Very early in the investigation, we began to suspect foul play. So I'm gonna stop right there. That, you, again, mental health, serious. What would make you even do that? And the child has autism. What would even lead you to kill your own child? Like what is going on that would make you even, how do you even set your mind there? Not, I mean, what would make you set your mind there? I mean, like, how? A 8-year-old, they don't have the strength to fight a grown adult back. They're not gonna overpower you, and you kill an innocent child for, like, really? Yeah, that parent need to burn under the jail. Her and her partner or whatever, burn under the jail or whatever the situation is, because yeah, mental health is serious, and but they need, I don't know what makes a person would snap out and do something of that magnitude. And you have, they said she had other children, but you wanted to do that to this one child here. Why? You know, why? Why not just call social services and tell them, hey, I can't do it. Why not take your child to the nearest church, that, and let them know, hey, look, I can't do it. Can you please help me and take my child, or, point me in the right direction where I can get some assistance. I can't do this. What, what, why kill the child? I never can understand these stories when I hear those stories. I'll never understand those stories at all. Like, I couldn't even fix my brain to even attempt to understand those stories with somebody killing their own child. I mean, a child, period, of that matter. I don't care if it's your child or not, but I'm just speaking on this situation. Like, what is going on in your life so bad? You know what I mean? Like, you're not even thinking to, like, just call someone to come get your child. You know, I can't. I would never understand it. So that's why I say again, we must really give thanks because someone did not wake up this morning. Someone will not wake up tomorrow morning. That's, I mean, that's just what it is, and it's a hard pill to swallow. But someone don't have a warm roof over their head. Someone doesn't have their own, period. Some people are seriously just struggling, and even before the pandemic and during the pandemic, um, you know, even more people felt the 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 the, the impact of this pandemic, and there are a lot of people dealing with things, and you must give thanks if you are able, especially if you sitting here and you watching me speak right now. You must give thanks for what you have. Be grateful for all that you have, because you have to look to other people and see that maybe you may think your situation is bad, but when you look and you look at other folks' situation, they're worse off than what you may think you are. There are people that are dealing with real mental issues and wish that they could just their brain can just function, and they can deal the same as somebody with a normal, sane, calm thinking mind. They wish they can have that type of mind. You know, you have to give thanks for what you have. You know, especially if you had a hierarchies of needs, you must give thanks. If you have food, water, clothing, and shelter, warmth, you need to be thankful. You need to be thankful. And especially in this time when inflation is on food and gas and all the basic necessities that I just talked about, is inflation on all of that right now. And if you still sustaining and you still able to have a Thanksgiving and have food on your table, you need to give thanks for real, because you know you are blessed, and He has His hands on you, and he, he, even in this time He's protecting and keeping you covered. So you must give thanks to this Thanksgiving, that you know for this year, period. If you're still breathing and healthy and still have what you need, give thanks, man. Like, you can't thank Him enough. And if you don't believe, then understand. So this is for the believers, and whatever denomination you are in, give thanks. That's my time. I'm your guy, Rashawn. This is Space Invaders TV. Y'all enjoy the holidays. Make sure you spread this. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you subscribe to the page if you like what I'll talk about here. I'll keep saying page, the channel. Make sure y'all subscribe, you know, and keep sharing it. I thank y'all, and y'all have a good one.